Hey, my name is Cody Owen, and I'm one of the coaches here at Freedom Group. I just want to take a second to introduce myself and you to the video. The video is the story of your business, and we're going to have just a casual conversation about business and life. And the purpose of this video is for you to understand that I get you. And not only that, but I know the way out of your situation. So on that note, this program is for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's for people who become slaves to their business, and no matter how hard they try, they just keep spinning their wheels, expending enormous amounts of energy, but never really seem to make any progress in their business or their life. So if that's you, then I need you to watch the rest of the video. If it's not you, then I need you to share this video with someone you know who needs this information. Like, you really need to step up and be a hero in the life of the friend. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. There are a million reasons why people go into business, but one main reason why they fail. Most people go into business doing something that they love or at least know how to do. That's why a cook leaves his job to become a chef in his own restaurant, a painter starts a painting company, or a man puts a mower in the back of his truck and starts calling himself a landscaper. Uh, it, just because you know how to do the trade of your business does not necessarily mean that you know how to do the trade of business. So rather than achieving your dreams and living a life of freedom, you now find yourself chained to the worst boss ever imaginable. And that person is yourself. You're working more than you ever thought possible, your relationships are being bent and breaking, and you have little to no reward to show for the massive amount of effort that you've been piling into your business. Why is this? It's because of this principle. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And this is a principle that we'll go over a lot through the course of my program. What it means is that a business is really nothing more than a reflection of its owner. And one of the primary reasons why people go into business in the first place is to have control. But the reason why they never have any time or money or freedom or the people that they need is because they're constantly running around and fixing problems from unplanned and unmanaged processes in their business. These processes are unplanned because you probably didn't know they were supposed to be defined to start with. And even if you did have some sort of idea about that, you probably lack the guidance to properly document and improve them. So I want to take a minute to talk about control. Control is a good thing, but you need to know how to use it properly. There are two types of control, direct and indirect. Direct control is a command and control style of leadership. This is the most common type of leadership we see in the world around us. And the reason why is it's what you learned in school. And this is the reason why owners struggle later in life. It's the only style of leadership that they've really had experience with and can relate to. So the other type of control is indirect control. It's a collaborative approach. It's a process of observing and recording what you see. It's observing the way things are. It transfers control from resting exclusively on your shoulders like it does in the direct approach, and it distributes it among your team. The observations that your team makes are recorded and shared. Now, when there's a question or a routine decision needs to be made, you go back to the stack of all your observations. Those observations are curated and put into a book. And so your people are trained to ask the book, not you. But since you probably don't have a book right now, I want to ask a couple of questions to see what your life is actually like. And I want to share a picture with you of me back during my old days, back when I was first getting started in business, before I had learned and mastered the things that I'd like to share with you in this program that we have here at Freedom Group. So I want you to be prepared to look really closely at this picture, and I want you to be thinking and asking yourself this question. Does this look anything at all like me. Okay, are you ready? Here it goes. Does this look like you? So, my wife took this candid photo of me several years ago. I don't normally wear glasses, but when your eyes have disintegrated, you need all the help you can get. I was a neurotic blue collar entrepreneur, meaning I liked getting my hands dirty, and I started a business around something that I loved doing. So I basically created the world's worst job, working for the world's worst boss myself. And I was routinely working 80 to 100 hours a week. No joke. And I worked those hours in 5 days. Okay. I spent every Saturday hungover with a massive headache. And I was not hungover with a headache because I had a great time partying the night before. I almost never drank anything at all. I was hungover from exhaustion. I was completely spent by Saturday, so I was completely useless. Um, I was I was useless as a husband. I was useless as a father, and I just pretty much spent the day recovering from the week on Saturday. And Sunday rolled around. I was sort of half alive, and I was kind of able to, have a life for a few hours on Sunday, but really I was still exhausted. I would sleep a lot of the day, and I went to bed early, and I got up early on Monday morning to start the whole chaotic cycle all over again. And so, my question is, what about you? How many hours a week are you currently working in your company? Are you burning yourself to the ground? Are you suffering from an overwhelming need to work weekends? How about working nights? What about working on holidays or missing your son or daughter's 7-year-old birthday party? Does your spouse fall asleep alone in an empty bed each night? Do you leave her covered by all the broken promises that you've made? I'm sure that you've promised things would change, that you'll have more time to be there for your children and take your spouse out on more dates. I mean, that's, as a guy, that's what I promised to my wife. And that was one of the reasons why I started this company in the first place. That is my first company, is I wanted to have the time and the freedom to be able to do what I wanted. And that's what I thought starting a business meant. And there came a point in my life when, after my wife had spent so many years, kind of like this woman in the photo, just waiting for me, she really kind of started to give up. She didn't believe my crap anymore when I told her, oh, things will change, things will be different, it's not going to be like this forever. I put so many broken promises on her, it's ridiculous. And there was a time when I was really afraid that I would come home one day to an empty house. And I don't know if you know what that's like, but it's a terrible feeling. And I had just basically become the roommate in our relationship, where I would work all day. I'd come home, usually I was kind of home by like 7 or 8, but then there was always more office things that needed to be done. So it might be 11 o'clock or midnight by the time I went to bed. And my wife just gave up. She was in bed, she was asleep by the time I got there, and I was out of the bed before she was awake in the morning. We almost never saw each other. We were just ships passing in the night. And so those promises just kept piling up, and they piled up like dry, dead leaves in the fall. And so something I want to ask you is it autumn in your life? Does your life feel like it is dry and crumbling to pieces all around you? Does it seem like forever since there was life and joy and hope and things were actually green and growing? Do you want it to be springtime in your business and in your life again? And this is a big one. Are people always asking you for things? Do you dread coming into your office each day? Are people constantly asking you for stuff and acting like they can't get anything done without your input, your feedback, or your direction? Do the same annoying problems keep popping up day after day, maybe even several times a day, where you're like, man, we just talked about this. Why are you asking me this again? Do the same thing I told you to do last time. Is everybody using your brain to solve their problem? Does it seem like even simple, basic tasks require babysitting. And this was a hard one for me. Are customers burning up your phone with complaints about the same defects, mistakes, problems, delays, whatever? And this is where we come in to intervene in your life. And my first intervention that I want to share with you right now is helping you understand what a business actually is. A business is a machine. And it's a machine that, if run correctly, is carefully designed to print ginormous amounts of cash that get dumped into your bank account on a recurring basis. But notice I said if it's designed correctly, it'll do that. The problem is most people that go into business don't understand what their business actually is. They go into business because they know how to do something. They're a cook, they're a painter, they have a lawnmower, they enjoy mowing lawns, they're a house cleaner, maybe they're an electrician, they're a plumber. I mean, there are all kinds of different trades that people know how to do, and they sit back and they watch the owner of the company that they're currently working in, doing something where it looks like you're just making all this money, even though you may not have the full picture and you don't understand what the operating costs of that business actually are. Well, you understand them now, right? Um, and so you just see the owner seems like he's making gobs of money, and so you're like, I could just do this myself. Okay, that was what I said to myself when I started my first business at 20 years old. I'm like, this is a piece of cake. I know how to do this. There's all these other people, they're not as smart as me. That was a big thing for me. These people aren't as smart as me. If they can make all this money doing this, I can make even more money doing this. This is a piece of cake, is a done deal. And so I went and I started a business for myself around something that I really enjoyed, I really loved, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was a disaster. It was probably the worst thing I had ever done. And I proceeded to go through about 7 years of hell where I did not know how to run a business, and my ego was too big for me to admit that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was embarrassed to death. I was humiliated because I wanted to take care of and provide for my wife. And early on in life, I should let you know, my wife and I were married out of high school. We were high school sweethearts, and we started a family really early. So before my wife was 21, she was pregnant with our first child. And I had just started this business. We'd been in business for about a year at that point. We weren't really making any money. It was 2007, so we were going through the housing market crash, the leading edge of that. And then 2008 rolls along, so we started a business in 2006. We weren't really succeeding in 2007, but because the market was so crazy, I was able to kind of get by doing things by myself, and she would help me. And then we had bought a house in 2006, and we lost it in 2008. We had the financial crash in 2008, and my business limped on for years ever since. And I was just barely staying alive. It was awful, and it took me a long time to learn what I needed to know in order to bring that into success. And so here on this slide, there's just a couple of things that are kind of the primary things that we're going to be looking at in your business. So just to go over it, we're going to be looking at implementing simple processes. Okay, so I said that your business is a machine. Well, a machine has systems. It's built on systems that make it work. Okay, look at a blender or your KitchenAid mixer in your kitchen, and you just see the blender or the mixer, but inside of that is the circuitry, the power board, the motor, all the different little things that need to work inside of it to make it blend, an adult beverage for you on the weekend, or, mix up some cookie dough or whatever it is you're doing. Okay, your business is the same way. There are many different little parts and pieces and nuances that all fit together and need to work. And the big problem that you're probably experiencing is that everything that your business needs to run is currently locked inside of your head. That's why the number one symptom of this problem is everybody comes to you to ask questions for the most mundane routine things. And that's because all the knowledge about how to run your business is locked inside your head, and also because you don't understand how to properly exercise control over your business. Right now, you think everything comes back to you, everything's about you, and you need to be in charge. So what you have done is you have made yourself the bottleneck in your company. And so what we need to do is come in and remove you from that position. And we do that by creating the systems and the documentation, the processes that your people need to go to the book. And believe me, this takes a huge weight off of your shoulders, because rather than everybody coming to you, they can learn that they have the solution themselves. And if they don't know what the solution is, there's a resource for where they can go and get the solution, and that's the book. And if for some reason the book doesn't have the answer, then there is a process for making the answer. And all of this can happen without you having to handhold and babysit everyone all the time. Okay, so simple processes. We also have unique tools and methods. So here's a little icon of a tool that we created called Culture Quadrant. That's a big thing. I'm not going to go into that at all in this video. I want you to know that it's there. I've spent many years putting a lot of thought and time and energy and effort into learning how to run a business efficiently. And so basically, I want to sum it up like this: there is a ton of waste in your business. I don't care how much money your business is making right now. Maybe you're making $100,000, maybe you're making $1 million, maybe you're making more. It doesn't matter. There's a ton of waste in your business. If you don't have the money to buy a new piece of equipment, you don't have the money to hire somebody that you need to relieve the pressure. That money, the reason why you don't have that money, or I should say the reason why you think you don't have that money, is because it's currently tied up in waste in your business. And so the Culture Quadrant tool is the most effective way at identifying waste, removing it, and operating your business more efficiently. I also have an incredibly unique perspective about what identity is. It'll absolutely blow your mind. We've all been unintentionally kind of misled about the nature of identity, purpose, and passion in life. And I'm going to set all those things straight, and we're going to create what I call an identity-driven company. And just to really kind of simplify this for you right here in this video, people always ask the question, what's your why in business? And what happens when you ask that question is you give identity to your business, and then you in turn switch that around and you draw your own identity from your business. Okay, so your business identifies you rather than you identifying your business, because why is an external question, and you're allowing something external to come in and then influence you. So when your business is failing, that reflects back on you and you feel like a failure, and it creates a negative feedback loop that compounds and gets worse and worse over time. And so you're actually making your problem worse. We're going to disrupt that cycle, change it completely. We're going to have your business draw identity from you rather than you drawing identity from your business. So we're going to create what we call an identity-driven company. And then last, and really this is what people are most interested in, and that's scale. People think that in order to get out of the hole that they've dug themselves into, they need more sales. They need more money. Well, like I mentioned here just a minute ago, you already have the money in your business. You're just not using it right. You already have the resources. You're just not using them right. And really, you're 95% of the way there. 95% or more of what you're doing is good. Okay, it's this 5% that we need to fine tune and hone. You know, it's the dollars, it's the pennies and the dollars here and there that are removing opportunity from your life. And so the problem is everybody thinks that money is the solution to whatever it is they're looking for. But the problem is if you don't take time to get your foundation set with the right processes, then money is just more. It's going to make your problems bigger. Okay? we need to go in there and catch these things now when they're small before they become big. And once you iron out all the wrinkles in your program, then you're ready to scale. Then you're ready to bring in new business and more money into the equation. And then it's going to be a blessing rather than a curse. Because believe me, I've worked with a lot of people that thought that all they needed was more money. Okay. And the money comes in because money is incredibly easy to get. It's easy to make a sale. Okay, it's not easy to manage problems. So we want to attack those problems and eliminate them. And so I have this little formula right here that the formula for scale is this. You want to have the right strategy. So what's your strategy? It's your product or your service, whatever it is you're bringing to the market. And you want to add that to the right processes. Okay, and like I said, most of what you're doing is good and it's right. We need to go in and go after that 5% because really it's that 5% that's taking 80% of your time. Okay, 80% of your time needs to be spent on getting new business. Okay, and only 20% of your time is spent on these other things that come up. Okay, so strategy, processes, and then this is multiplied to the power of the right people, because having good people in your company has an exponential compounding effect on what your business can do. Okay, and that's what scale is really about. It's strategy, process, and people. And that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay, is this making sense to you? Are you getting this? So I just have a question for you. Is this what you want? Like, here's a picture of me learning how to surf in Canggu, Bali. It's the most incredible place in the world to be. And there was a time in my life when I never thought I would be here. It never even occurred to me that you could do this with your life, because I was so buried in my business that I couldn't see the light to save my life. Okay, and here I am with my wife and my son's there in the background, and I'm learning how to surf on the beach in Canggu, Bali. Just absolutely incredible. I know everybody has different dreams, and travel and doing stuff like this maybe is not your dream. All right, but what is your dream? What is it that you want? So we all get into business for different reasons, and every business represents a unique dream. Do you want the time, the money, and the freedom to take your family on a beautiful vacation like this, or have an amazing experience, or create memories that right now seem like a fantasy? This is like a fantasy to me. But I focused in and learned how to do the work of business to be able to have a life like this, where I could leave my business for a time and go and have an amazing experience with my family and come back and everything is okay. Okay, and here's another question. Do you want to stop putting off your life because you're afraid to leave your business for a day? Do you want to have a team that has your back and moves the needle forward without you? Do you want to have extra time for life and the ability to say yes to the people that you care about, and finally do the things with your business that mattered to you in the beginning when you started? And here's another one. So I photoshopped myself out of my family's life. So my question for you is, are you never going to miss another birthday, holiday, or school event again? Are you and your spouse going to stop being ships that pass each other in the night? Are you going to restore passion to your marriage? Are you going to fill your mantle place with family photos that actually have you in them? Okay, and I get maybe you're not married and you don't have a family. Do you want to be in a position where that idea does not totally stress you out and you're like, yes, I can do this, because you're not working 1,000,000 hours a week? Okay, are you getting this? Is this making sense to you? So in order to do that, I need you to stop being that person. That person has tried to do everything on his own. The only way to achieve success is to become the person who deserves it. But the truth is this: who you are now is not capable of achieving your dreams. And that's okay, because you have the ability to become anything that you want or need to be. And personal development is not about, creating your dreams and living your best life, or making the most out of your strengths and ignoring your weaknesses. That's kind of feel good personal development. That's not real personal development. We're going to be looking at real personal development together. And this is what I want you to know personal development is. It's about profound, fundamental transformation that produces a radical shift in your identity, the result of which is realizing your dreams. You have to become the person whose dreams aren't dreams, they're simply your way of life. And so I sum that up by saying this: in order for you to have your dreams, your highest dreams have to become your irrefutable minimum standards. Why is that? I'm going to share a little secret with you. This is why. It's because you are not the highest version of yourself that you can imagine. You're actually the lowest version of yourself that you can accept. This feeds back into something that I said earlier. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Your business is not the highest version of what you can dream it to be. It's the lowest version you are willing to accept. So if you want to achieve your dreams and your goals, you must transform them into irrefutable standards. And the only way you can do that is to stop being who you were and who you are, and remain relentlessly focused on who you are becoming. Are you getting this? So I want to go on this journey of freedom with you, because there's a saying that he who walks alone walks fast, but he who walks with others walks far. It's really very simple. You can't do it all on your own before you know how. Learning to build a team and work the systems of your business together with your people is what enables you to achieve your dreams. There's a difference between your ability to do anything versus your ability to do everything. You can't do everything. You can't run your business by yourself. And so I just have this question for you. Who are you becoming? You will never go back to yesterday. You are a different person then than you are today. You are not static. This is one of the misconceptions that people have about identity. They think that who they are is who they always will be, but that's simply not true, because you are not the same person today that you were yesterday, and who you are today is going to be different than who you are tomorrow. You are not static, and all of your potential lives in the future. So you always have to ask this question: who am I becoming? Are you getting this? Is this making sense to you? If it is, raise your hand. I know it's just you and me and the computer or your phone, but raise your freaking hand if you're getting this, and own it. So we're at the end. Now is the time for you to click on the link below. There's always a link below the video, right? Click on the link below and fill out that simple form at the bottom of the page here and request a free strategy session so we can get to work planning out who you are becoming.